This movie is a brief introduction and overview of the argument section, the logical reasoning section. Okay, so the argument sections can be any two of the four sections, and they can contain up to 26 or as little as 24 questions per section. So between 24 and 26. And at the beginning of each one of the sections, you'll have this little paragraph. It says, the questions in this section are based on the reasoning contained in brief statements or passages. For some questions, more than one of the choices could conceivably answer the question. However, you are to choose the best answer, that is, the response that most accurately and completely answers the question. You should not make assumptions that are by common sense standards implausible, superfluous, or incompatible with the passage. After you have chosen the best answer, blacken the corresponding space on your answer sheet. So these are brief directions about how to do the questions. The basic point is that you should approach them commonsensically and make only reasonable and not implausible or superfluous assumptions. Okay. So in this section, we're going to be dealing with brief statements or passages. And the basic thing is that we need to pay attention to the reasoning in those arguments, those statements or passages. We need to pay attention to what's being argued in the passage and how it's being argued. In the game section, each question had only one definite, objectively correct answer. Here in the argument section, you don't have that same level of objectivity. But that doesn't mean that each question, or even some of the questions, or even any of the questions, can have more than one equally valid answer, and that it just depends on your personal interpretation. So basically, you shouldn't have a different attitude towards these questions than in any normal everyday situation where you're engaged in reasonable dialogue with somebody. So this section tests abstract reasoning. The content is irrelevant, and you're going to have to read a number of short passages and figure out what they're trying to say and how they're trying to say it using common sense, everyday reasoning.